Hello all, and welcome to your 3-minute talks with your district social workers. My name is Brittany Buholtz, and Sarah Hyatt is here today also, and she's going to be going over some coping skills to help your students through anxious feelings.
So our kids need tools. Just like it takes us as adults a few minutes to calm down and get back into that thinking brain mode, it takes our kids times as well. Ask your child what helps them when they're feeling anxious. If they aren't sure of what might help, it's a great time to work with them to create this toolbox of skills. Every child's toolbox is going to look different, and this takes time for you to build and create. Not only do you need to support your child figuring out what works for them, but you also need to actually allow time to practice those skills during calm moments. You can role play them if they're willing. You can model what works for you and talk about it when you do it, and have great talks with them just about what's working well or what isn't. This is a partial list from a resource called copingskillsforkids.com. When figuring out what skills might work for your child, everyone is different. It's also helpful to match a coping skill with how they might be feeling or acting in that moment. So some kids might need to be physical. They need to take an active break to help them re-engage. Some kids like to process by spending time writing or coloring or doodling. Some kids enjoy and do well with calming skills and breathing techniques. Sometimes they need to use a distraction skill because a situation is too overwhelming to process or try to discuss, or it's not the right time, and they just need to use a distraction until they're ready. This is a way to manage their time until they can process. And if using skills this way, it's not an avoidance activity, but it is a true distraction until they can process those feelings they experienced. Brittany is now going to share a couple examples of coping strategies.
One example that has some really great visuals you can look at online is called the Grounding 5. Grounding 5 has you go through a series of steps where you identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. The tasting part is a great space to also take a nice drink of water. And so you can find lots of nice visuals there. Another option is to go through a breathing activity called the Take 5. All you need is your hand. We like to use our other hand and feel the texture, the kind of the calming movement of our fingers going up, and we will breathe in. And then as they go down our finger, we will breathe out. So if we do it together, you would breathe in and out, breathe in and out, breathe in, out, in, out, in, and out. Usually we feel much calmer after that. We can do that activity anywhere. It doesn't have to be super noticeable, so it's great for any type of situation you might be in. Next week, we're going to go over in our 3-minute talk a plan for how we can plan ahead to work through anxious moments. And so we'll be giving a worksheet if that feels helpful, but it just gives a little bit of a structure to plan ahead for when we may be working through an anxious feeling and what the best steps are to do that. We look forward to talking to you then. Bye.